Mark Tilbury, a very successful business entrepreneur who owns his own company, and he is giving advice: if you want to get rich, don't start your own business.
As soon as I left school, I started my first business, which made me a multi-millionaire.
I've got the same thing. If I see pictures of myself 20, 30 years ago, it looks a little bit similar. Horrible.
In a life I'd always dreamed of. This statement isn't just false, it's pretty much impossible. The trouble is, many people that want to get rich are buying into this narrative as it's so widespread on the internet. Why? Because it sounds so much easier than the reality.
I love it already. It's true. It's not so easy. And there's this strange narrative, especially on YouTube and on internet, where you can become rich overnight. It rarely ever happens. So let's continue.
Don't get me wrong, I did make my millions from starting successful businesses. However, I didn't just jump straight into a business idea after watching a top 10 side hustle video.
He's talking about very fast, but I think it's crucial. Yes, starting your own business at the end of the day is very helpful. But first you need to find out your knack, what's your talent. That's basically what he's saying. At least I hope he will say.
When I say you have little to no chance of starting a successful business straight out of school, I'm not trying to crush your dreams. Quite the opposite. I want you to save your valuable time and start building the skill sets you need to succeed.
It's really about building the skill set, but you need to practice, you need to skill yourself, you need to get knowledge, you need to read books, and then for sure you will find something that's going to be your knack, your talent. If you're going to make a business out of that, it also doesn't feel like working.
Become rich, then listen up, because if I was in your position, I'd follow these 6 steps.
Oh, by the way, if you want to become rich, you want it. Be careful with that, saying that to yourself, because it's about the wanting and not really achieving it. So you don't want it, you don't have to. Tell yourself that you're going to be rich. And rich is very overrated, by the way, but okay.
With the idea of living a good, balanced and happy life. This, of course, is an admirable goal. However,
I understand this is about the video, but it's not a goal. If you say, I want to have a good work-life balance, it will never ever be a goal that's going to be helpful for you to really achieve what it is that you want. Because what is it? What is a good work-life balance?
As to be truly happy, I believe you first need to fix the money issue, as never having enough can lead.
I would never advise you to have money as a goal by itself. But when people say money doesn't buy you happiness, I remember a phrase, I'm 52 years old, a phrase from Dynasty. This lady, I forgot her name. She said, if people say money doesn't buy you happiness, that's like opium for the poor people. If you have money, you will be able to invest. You'll be able to invest in yourself. You can do personal development. You can learn. You can do things. So make sure you have some money around. Try to avoid that you live from paycheck to paycheck. I understand it's not easy. Make a plan. Set a goal for yourself.
Any more problems down the road? I can tell you this, the journey to making substantial money isn't an easy one. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. You just have to be very honest about what you're actually good at. Ray Dalio, owner.
I can also imagine that you're looking at this video and thinking to yourself, okay, 2 old guys giving me this advice, but really listen to it. Make sure you have enough money so you can invest in yourself.
The largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Capital, says that you have to find your game. And I couldn't agree more. I remember trying my hand at a lot of different things.
It's becoming boring, but I agree. You need to find your game. What is it that you're good at? What's your game? Again, I'm 52 years old. And when I look in my surroundings at people that I know and friends, some of them became really rich because they end up in a game. And because they knew the game, they become rich.
Store fish sales, being a shop assistant, flipping cars and teaching people how to fly radio control helicopters. From this, I identified I had natural talent for dealing with people due to my strong social skills. From then on, I really leaned into anything that relied on me speaking face to face with customers, as I knew
I dare to say how I was raised as a child to what it is that I'm doing right now, because my parents had a shop. When I was 8 years old, I already had to work in the shop, helping people, dealing with people, and I truly believe that really helped me to prosper in what it is that I'm doing today.
I would always ask questions and try to figure out how it all worked. This later came in very handy when I was traveling the world looking for the perfect place to manufacture my own products, as I knew what I was looking for. My experience as an assistant in a radio controlled model shop helped me learn sales, communication and organisational skills that I'd later train to my employees in my own shops. In your current job, try to understand why things are the way they are without trying to argue or question your boss. By looking just at
such good advice. This is the advice I'm giving to my girls as well. The youngest one is 18 years old and she works in a clothing shop. I already said to her, just pay attention to what's happening with the staff, how difficult it is to get staff motivated, how the communication is with headquarters, why are people having an opinion on it. She's 18 years old and she already understands what's going on.
You can find there's a reason why pretty much everything is the way it is. If it's good, keep note of it. If it's bad, also keep note of it. I'll explain why later. Step 3. Nurture your contacts and your image. These two really go hand in hand.
If you want to become successful, or even if your goal is to become rich, you need to think about your image. Is it trustworthy? Is it dynamic enough? What is it that you want that other people think about you? Make sure people have a good understanding what it is that you do, that you create the right image that suits you.
Starting a business is scary. It often means taking risks and putting in lots of time and money up front without any guaranteed returns. That's why it's so important to start with a side hustle.
I disagree on this one. I see a lot of people having a side hustle, but then the attention is a little bit on the job and a little bit on the side hustle. I truly believe, also by experience, sometimes you have to say, okay, I'm gonna burn all the ships behind me and I'm gonna move on, because then you have to. There's no way back. That's gonna make you more successful than have focus on two sides.
Social media and quiet quitting, it's easier than ever to stand out by excelling. But it's also important not to be too self-absorbed. Most people are more interested in themselves than other people. Becoming genuine.
That is so true. Remember, we do training, and the biggest issue always is listening. We are so occupied with our own thoughts. We're constantly thinking about, what is this person saying? What is it that I need to get out of this? How do I move on? What would be my next question? And then we're not really listening anymore.
That ensures you'll never be successful, because the way you do the small things is the way you'll do the big things. When I was working as a carpenter, I'd have days I just hated, but I knew a sour attitude wouldn't get me anywhere. Even a job like this can give you the opportunity to practice important skills. I learned woodwork, technical design, quoting and customer service. I always believed in the phrase work to learn, not to earn. When I worked in...
I know for sure when you look around, you see people doing stupid jobs from your perspective, but they're happy doing it and they really do a great job at it. That's basically what he's saying. So if you have a job, make sure you enjoy it. Even if it's the most shitty job you can imagine.
Businesses are all about solving problems, but the funny thing is, businesses have tons of their own problems. Whenever an issue comes up and your boss has to hire some outside help, keep a note of what the problem was and how it was solved. I saw all the problems in the radio control.
It goes very fast, but this is even more than excellent advice, because it's so true. Companies have issues, they need to solve it. In fact, most companies, they have an existence because they solve issues for other companies. But if you're young, and you already look around and you say, okay, that's an issue. How did they solve it? How did they do it? What was the issue? How much impact was it? So very good advice.
Job I was working in, such as not meeting customer demand with certain products, a poor location and inexperienced staff. I later used this information to start a chain of model shops that absolutely dominated the market. This is the same idea behind hiring a mentor or paying for consultants. However, this way you are actually getting paid while gaining the knowledge. Step 5, test your fixes.
He just confirms everything I believe in. It doesn't matter what it is that you sell. If you constantly think about, what is it that I'm going to solve with my client?
Once a very scrappy and buggy game ended up becoming pretty amazing by just listening to the feedback and making constant improvements. Testing.
I love this guy because at the end it's very good advice what he's giving. If you have something that you can test already in the market, you can get feedback from your clients and then you can improve it. Of course, perfect way to move forward.
It can be as simple as just asking users what they think of it in a Discord or a subreddit. It's worth remembering though, the opinions of those that matter most are the ones that buy your product. And you won't know who those people are until you start selling on a small scale. Often you'll find that
sometimes people come with the product and they think it's an answer, but in most cases it's an answer to a question nobody raised. Think about that.
Results are due to 20% of your side hustle. This rule applies to many more things, such as 80% of traffic accidents are caused by 20% of drivers. 80% of wealth is controlled by 20% of the population. 80% of a company's productivity is due to 20% of its...
I can confirm this, really. Every organization that we do business, you see 20% of the salespeople doing 80% of the revenue. And it seems like a law of nature, because no matter what you do, you can improve it a little bit. But at the end, it all comes down to the 20-80 rule, strangely enough.
going to fail and become disheartened. It's undeniable that the biggest billionaires out there didn't get that way by just having a side hustle. They did it by delivering value to a huge number of people.
So just having a side hustle will not bring you anything. The focus should be on, if you start a side hustle in the early beginnings of your business, it's fine, because you need to see if it works. But have real focus on it. Make it your main thing.
So when you're analysing the results of your side hustle, try to see if you can identify the best parts of what you're doing, the top 20%. Then ask yourself, how can you do more of it on a larger scale and reach more people?
Let me tell you a little secret. I love this video. It's spot on. I like his advice. There's one thing missing. There's really one thing missing. So you can learn new skills and you can have dreams. You should have dreams. Dreams are fantastic, but there's one thing he's not talking about, and that's your belief system. If you don't really believe in your side hustle, for example, it's never going to be a success, unfortunately. So it's not only about learning the skills. I think you have the capacity. That's not the problem. But you first need to believe in what it is that you try to reach. You should believe in the side hustle. You should believe in what it is that you have as a goal. If you do that, you will pick up the skills that are necessary to do so. Perhaps on another channel we need to talk about this belief system a little bit more, because that's going to be very helpful for you guys. I think I'm going to leave it for today. Enough reactions. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.